When Ethel Kennedy stood next to her husband at campaign rallies, everything looked picture perfect. Cameras caught her smiling, holding his hand, standing proudly beside him while he spoke to crowds. She looked like the ideal political wife. Calm, supportive, graceful. At home, she was raising 11 children while he built a powerful career. From the outside, it looked like a dream life. But those photos didn't show the real story. They didn't show what Ethel already knew. She knew about the actresses. She knew about women close to their social circle. She knew about affairs that would have made most people walk away without a second thought. And the most surprising part? She didn't find out later. She knew even before she married him. Robert F. Kennedy didn't just slip up once or twice. He had multiple relationships outside his marriage over the years, and Ethel wasn't in the dark about any of it. From famous Hollywood names to people in their own circle, even someone within the extended family. His behavior was something many insiders were aware of. Still, she stayed. She kept raising their large family. She kept showing up beside him. She ignored betrayal again and again. So the real mystery isn't just about who he was involved with. It's about why she chose to live with it. To understand that, you have to go back to how her life started. Ethel was born Ethel Skakel into a wealthy and well-connected family. She met the Kennedys through shared social circles. This wasn't a situation where she walked in blindly. The Kennedy family already had a reputation, and people around them understood what came with that name. Faithfulness wasn't exactly something they were known for. Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., the father of the family, had his own affairs, and he didn't hide them very well. That attitude didn't stay with just him. It influenced his sons, too. There were unspoken rules if why. Al married into that family. You didn't complain. You didn't expose anything. You kept everything private. No matter what happened behind closed doors, you smiled in public and protected the image. Ethel knew all of this, and still, she fell in love. They got married in June 1950. She was young, hopeful, and believed love could handle anything. People close to her said she loved Bobby deeply, more than she had ever expected to love someone. That kind of love can make people accept things they normally wouldn't. But there's something important about Bobby's early life that helps explain everything that came later. According to Larry Tye, when Bobby was 21, his father arranged for him to go to a brothel. It wasn't spontaneous, it was planned, like some kind of lesson or experience. Afterward, Bobby didn't react emotionally. He simply said it wasn't bad, but not amazing either. That response says a lot. It shows how he viewed relationships, very casually, almost like something transactional, rather than emotional. Just a year later, he married Ethel. She was 22. By the next year, they had their first child. Over time, they had 11 children together. On paper, it looked like a strong, growing family. But behind the scenes, things were different. While building his career, from attorney general to senator, and raising a big family, Bobby was also involved with other women. This wasn't something that happened once. It became a pattern that lasted for years. And Ethel, even though she knew, chose to stay. Now, the women he was involved with weren't random. Many of them were famous. One of the names linked to him was Kim Novak. She was a major star in the 1950s, working with Columbia Pictures and starring in big films like Picnic, Pal Joey, and Vertigo, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. The reported relationship happened around 1961, when Bobby was serving as Attorney General. That made things even more risky because of his position. There aren't many details, which is common with Kennedy stories, but multiple sources suggest it did happen. Later, Novak stepped away from Hollywood and lived a quieter life. She married Robert Malloy and moved to Oregon. She never spoke publicly about Bobby, but people never fully stopped talking about it. Another name connected to him was Lee Remick. She was highly respected, nominated for major awards, and successful in both movies and theater. She was married to Bill Colleran when the alleged relationship happened in the early 1960s. At the time, she also had 2 children. Managing a career, family, and a secret relationship like that must have been incredibly stressful. Later, she married William Rory Gow, and stayed with him until she passed away in 1991. Like others, she never confirmed anything publicly, but those close to the situation believed it. Then things became even more complicated. Claudine Longet was not just someone Bobby met casually. She was married to Andy Williams, and the two couples were very close. They spent a lot of time together, vacations, dinners, visits. Their children played together. They were the kind of families that shared holidays. But in 1967, Bobby and Claudine reportedly had an affair. This wasn't just betrayal. It happened inside a close friendship. When Bobby was shot in 1968, both Claudine and Andy rushed to the hospital with the Kennedys. They were there during those final moments. Later, they even named their son Robert in his memory. That brings up a tough question. Did Andy know? And how did Ethel feel standing next to someone who had been involved with her husband? Then there's the story involving Marilyn Monroe. For a long time, people thought the rumors were just gossip, but then a letter written by Jean Kennedy Smith came out. In it, she talked about Bobby and Marilyn like they were a couple and even encouraged the relationship. That wasn't a rumor. That was family acknowledgement. There are also photos showing them together, looking comfortable and close. One of the most talked about moments happened at John F. Kennedy's birthday party in 1962. That's where Marilyn sang her famous Happy Birthday. After the performance, according to Lou Harris, Marilyn openly flirted with Bobby in front of everyone. She even pinned him against a wall. And Ethel saw it happen. She stood there watching it all. She was furious and left the party, saying it was one of the worst things she had ever seen. Most people would have confronted their partner or left the marriage. But Ethel didn't. She stayed. The full details of that relationship aren't completely known, but there's enough evidence to suggest it wasn't just friendship. Marilyn died a few months later, which made everything even more mysterious. But the most painful situation came after the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963. Bobby was deeply affected. He struggled emotionally and seemed completely broken. During that time, he reportedly became involved with Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, his own sister-in-law. This relationship reportedly lasted about 4 years. People close to the family said they acted like a couple, even in front of others. Some believed Bobby might have wanted to marry Jackie, but it wasn't possible because of religion and politics. When Bobby was shot in 1968, one account claims Jackie made the final medical decision, not Ethel. Imagine how that felt for her, standing there with her children while another woman held that role. And still, she didn't speak out. So why did she stay? Part of it was love. She truly loved him deeply. Part of it was the Kennedy name. Being part of that family meant power, influence, and status. Leaving would have meant losing all of that. There were also 11 children. She wanted stability for them. And then there was the family culture, protect the name at all costs. After Bobby died, she had a chance to tell everything. She could have written a book, exposed the truth, and made money from it. But she didn't. She spent the rest of her life protecting his image. She raised their children, stayed active in causes he cared about, and never publicly spoke about his affairs. She lived until 2024, carrying all those secrets. Some people see that as strength, others see it differently. But one thing is certain, she always knew. From the start of her marriage to the end of her life, she understood exactly who Bobby was, and she chose to stay anyway.